Hey everybody, what's going on? Oh, mess up. I don't know what happened right there. Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back. Sorry for the weird intro. What's going on? Welcome back to The Truth. Or today we're going to be talking about why is it doing that? What? No. Okay, I don't know why it's doing that. It's weird. We're going to be talking about the top 25 college football rankings and then my top 25. I'm going to let y'all know there are some teams um, who are 9-3 or have 3 losses who didn't make it, and I'll get into that. So just I'm letting y'all know. But these are my rankings and the college football rankings. College football rankings. There's a committee head, and they vote on stuff. That's how that works. My rankings, I go. I break them down by record. So if you're undefeated, you have 1 loss. You have 2 losses. You have 3 losses. So on and so on. And then I view which teams I think are the best at that point. Sometimes I value if there is a win over them. I value that. I have to debate like, are they a lot better than now? Are they still kind of similar? Some teams are, some teams is different. We'll get to that. But getting right off into it, here is the college football committee heads rankings. At number 1, it's Georgia. No problems there. Number 2, Michigan, no problems. Number 3, Washington, no problems. Number 4, Florida State, no problem. There's a lot of controversy right now going on with Florida State being number 4. I don't have a problem because they are undefeated. I know they lost their quarterback. I know it's kind of like, hey, they're not going to be as good of a team. And you're right, they won't. But at the end of the day, they're still undefeated, and they deserve that spot. Coming at number 5, hot take, Oregon over Ohio State. There can be arguments made, but I feel like, in my personal opinion, that Ohio State team is a lot more talented than that Oregon team. Texas over Bama, I get that. Texas has that win over Bama, even though I think Bama's a lot better now. I understand why you have that. Missouri over Penn State, I agree with. Ole Miss at 11. In my personal opinion, I think Ole Miss is better than Missouri. Their defense isn't there, but that offense is dominant. It's a good offense. Oklahoma, I understand that. Having LSU at 13, I get it. They have 3 losses. It's hard to put them above that. But man, they're still LSU. Like they were playing so close to Texas A&M, and then just read off 21 points. Like that's just the craziness of that offense. It's insane. So electric. Dayton Daniels arguably should win the Heisman. It's insane. Louisville at number 14. That's interesting. It's really interesting. Arizona at 15. I get it. I don't know if Arizona can hang with Iowa's defense, but at the same time, I don't know if Iowa can score enough points, so I get that. Notre Dame a little lower. That's pretty interesting. I don't know if I'd have Notre Dame that low based off of like how well they've done, just because Notre Dame's played some pretty tough opponents. They've beaten USC too. Oklahoma State, same thing. They have that win over Oklahoma. Don't know why they're so low. I think Oklahoma State might be better than Arizona, in my personal opinion. Oregon State, I like what they're doing. Tennessee, SEC team, hard team. Tulane at 11-1 still, just chilling. Dog, if Tulane wins their next game, 12-1, they finished with one loss. Dog, that could be a team to watch out next year as undefeated team because they're making the right moves, they're stepping up, and they're working it. Like this is ideally what you want Colorado and Deion Sanders to do is look at this Tulane team, develop your talent, work with what you got, get more talent, and go take a big step up and then build off of that next season. Now, I'm not saying that they've fully done Tulane's done it yet, but they have a lot of potential, and that's what you want from Colorado. 8-4 Clemson. Clemson, these last couple weeks, they've been pulling off some good wins. I like what they're doing. Liberty still staying undefeated. I think they have like 1 game more left, and they have a good shot at making the college football championship. It honestly all rides on Washington or Florida State. And I'll get into. I'm gonna scroll back up. We're gonna talk about that for a little bit. But Liberty could sneak in there, so keep an eye on that. Kansas State, they've had their ups and downs, so I see where you put that 25. Getting into it, there are a couple games where I say, hey, it could go either way. Washington, they played I know they played their rival, but it wasn't a pretty game at the same time. Like I'd like to brush off the rivalry, but that was a really close game. Same thing with Georgia, but I have faith in Georgia. Unlike Washington, I don't know. If Washington loses, Liberty automatically moves into that number 4 spot. And the same goes for Florida State. Florida State's on upset watch just because of that Florida game. Plus, they're playing a better team. In my opinion, they could lose this game. And we could see Liberty move in and see Liberty playing Georgia, which we all know is going to be a blowout, but Liberty deserves it. Just to keep an eye out for y'all. That could possibly happen. There's a lot like Liberty for a team like Bama, Texas, Ohio State to win. What needs to happen is Oregon, Florida State has to lose. If Florida State loses and Liberty or Washington, if 2 teams loses, then a 1-loss team can make it. That's the tricky part is because 2 undefeated teams have to lose. 1 from the top 4 and Liberty. Because if Liberty doesn't lose, they're automatically getting a spot in. Well, technically, 2 teams could lose from the top 4. It's a little bit more difficult, especially since it's the last game of the season. It's kind of like, hey, win this game, we're in the playoffs, baby. It's set in stone. And Liberty, you're kind of hoping someone gets knocked out. That's what's happening. Liberty, it's all on them. And I'm going to be scrolling through those games, watching. I'm excited this weekend. I'm really excited. I'm super duper excited to just be scrolling through those games, watching it. But yeah, that's it. You need 2 teams if you're a 1-loss team to lose. If you're Texas, you kind of I feel like you have one of the big nods because if Bama beats Georgia, you're automatically in because you beat Bama. So you can't put Bama in there without putting Texas in there because they have that win. I think that says a lot. So just keep an eye out on that. Going into my rankings, I have Georgia on all of these from 1 to 5. They're all undefeated. I have Georgia at number 1. I think they're the best team. I like what they've done. They played close with their rivalry, but previous weeks before that, they've been dominant. Michigan played a close game with Ohio State. Good defense. Liked what they did. Washington, I think with the Florida State quarterback injury, that's why you put Washington above them. Florida State, they're good. They beat Florida. I think they're better than Liberty, who I have at 5. I think they can beat Liberty, who I have at 5. Liberty at 5, they're undefeated. That's why they're there. Going from 6 to 12, these are my 11-1 teams. Ohio State at 1. I like Ohio State. I think they're the best team. People thought Ohio State should be ranked number 1. They should rank number 2. They should rank number 3. Ohio State's good. They just lost to Michigan, who's even better. That's why I think they're right there at 6. Bama at 7. I think they're better than Texas right now because I think this was a different Bama team than it was against Texas. Oregon, who I like. Oregon's one of those teams you need to watch out for because Oregon can really throw things in a loop. Oregon had that loss to Washington, but it was close. Then I have Texas, who they lost to Oklahoma. Not as high as it seemed. Kind of a little bit lower on. So it's kind of that's kind of why I have it there. Tulane, because they're 11-1. James Madison, don't think they're better than Tulane, but they're also 11-1. And then Toledo, who's at 11-1. I think the worst 11-1 team. From 13 to 20, here's who I have. Ole Miss. I love that Ole Miss offense, and that's why I have them at number 1. Then I have Missouri. I like Missouri overall. They have a really good balance between offense and defense. They just don't have that X factor, that next level that a lot of these teams in the upper echelon have. Then I have Oklahoma. I like what Oklahoma's doing. They just play down to their opponents too much. Penn State, good team. Not enough for me to really go out and say there. Louisville, I don't think Louisville can beat any of these teams otherwise. I think they can beat the teams below them. That's why they're 10-2. Iowa, I like Iowa's defense. No offense, though. SMU's pretty good. Don't doubt them. They're just not as strong as these other teams. And then Miami, Ohio, who I think is the worst of these 10-2 teams. Going in, these are the teams who have 3 losses. Now, there are some teams who have 10-3. There are some teams who have 9-3. It's just 3 losses. That's why I'm labeling this one. At number 1, give me LSU. LSU's beaten top teams who are ranked higher in my rankings and in the college football rankings. They're shown they have a dominant offense. Their defense just sucks, and that's what held them back this year. That's why I have them at 21. 22, I have Oklahoma State. They have that win over Oklahoma. That's why I put them over here at 22. That's why I believe in them. At 23, I have Notre Dame. I like what Notre Dame did. They did beat USC in that high-powered offense. They've done a lot of good things. They just haven't done enough to have those wins, and that's my opinion. Notre Dame's really good this year. Arizona, I like Arizona. I don't remember if they have a ranked win or not, but I know they played close-ish to some. And then I have Memphis, who doesn't have a ranked win, but they've played so many close games to current ranked teams per college football rankings. That's just like, how can I not put them there when they've played really close games? Give them the nod. There are some teams who filled it out. That's just how it is. Like, there are a lot more teams who are 1 loss and 2 loss, and it's slowly growing. And yeah, that's about it. I'll update my list next week, and the way that will work is if they have that win, so like let's say an undefeated team wins another game and stays undefeated, I'm gonna give them that 13 win record. Like that they earned an upper echelon record. Usually wins, I usually go based off of losses, but wins in this case, since they are conference wins, will be risen and have more high quality because technically it should ideally be the best 2 teams in that conference battling it out. That's why I'd have them above there. Other than that being said, what do y'all think? Do y'all agree with college football rankings? Do y'all agree with my rankings? What do you hate from both of them? What do you like from both of them? What do you think changes? What X factors do you think make this team better than this team or this team lower than this team? Let me know. Communicate with me. I'd love to have a conversation. Other than that, thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.